Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a first impression of the Colourpop My Little Pony palette and sort of a tiny bit of the collection and a few other things that I got from the Colourpop website. So yeah, as you can see, I have no makeup on because I always do my eyes first, but I have primed my eyelids with the MAC Painterly Paint Pot, and also I set that with pale powder from the Wet n Wild Mega Glow contouring palette in Dolce de Leche, so this shade here. So yeah, I think since I don't look that great right now, I think I will just jump right into the eyeshadow application, and then I will do my face, and then we will talk more about the palette when I come back. But I just wanted to mention that this is the outside box of the palette, and here is what the palette looks like on the outside if you haven't seen it. And it's a My Little Pony collaboration with Colourpop, and I think My Little Pony has like a anniversary this year, which is why they did a collaboration. But this is what it looks like on the inside. So as you can see, you have sort of like the pink and red tone eyeshadows here, and then you have a row with like a green, and I have some swatches of this palette, but I think I will include them at the end when I talk more about the palette. And I did a mistake because I should have just primed my eyes with Painterly, and then I should have used this to set my eyeshadow primer. So we're just going to take this shade here, and they have names on the back of the palette, but I always get confused, like, is this shade right here? I think so. No, this shade. I mean, is this... Yeah, so this is confusing, but I'm just going to call this one Butterscotch, and I'm just going to take a Soliva, like the name has rubbed off, but it's just like a fluffy shader brush or something, large shader brush. I'm just going to take this and put it all over my lid. Maybe I should zoom in a bit, like that. This is very pale. It's pretty pigmented. You could definitely use this to set your like eyeshadow, but you could also use it like a brow bone highlight or like inner corner brightener. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I know I mentioned it's the first impression, but I have never like used these eyeshadows before, so this is the first time I'm applying them to my eyes, and I don't really know like what look I want to do, but I think I will use like this shade and this shade and this shade and this, I believe. But I'm just going to apply, I forgot, I'm going to apply some tape to my eyes, and then I will be right back. Okay, so now I have applied some tape, and I'm just going to take a Sigma E35, and this looks pink, but it's just like staining of the brush because it is completely clean, sort of. Okay, so I'm just going to start by taking, I think this is called Flutterby, maybe? This shade right here. And I'm going to apply that into my crease. And so far it's blending nicely. I have like, maybe I should have it darker. Okay, so I have one area right here where my eyeshadow never wants to like blend, because I don't know what, but if I lift my eye up like this, I can't see like a line, but if I let it like droop like this, I can see sort of like a line right here. But I feel like eyeshadow never blends on like right this spot right here. So otherwise this is blending very nicely so far. I'm just going to take this out all the way to the tape. I really like this shade so far. I think it's really pretty. And I think it would go nice with like the other two mattes. It would go very nicely with both of them, because it's a very like warm toned transition, but it has sort of like a peachy pink, so it can go both very pink with this one and then sort of more neutral with this right here. Yeah, that one blended really nicely. I'm just going to take one last dab into the palette. Okay, then we are going to take this shade here, and I think that is called Guy Dancer. And I'm sure these are all like names of, I think like Flutterby and Sky Dancer are all like names on My Little Ponies. I have never actually... I remember watching one episode when I was in like kindergarten, like when I was 4 or 5 or something. I think so, at least. I feel like I have like an image of like where I went to kindergarten and then the TV and stuff. So I've never actually watched. I feel like I'm a tiny bit too young. I don't know. But yeah, I've never actually watched My Little Pony. I just couldn't pass up this collection because it's so cute. And I wanted to try one of the smaller palettes from Colourpop, and since I'm a like colorful eyeshadow wearer, I didn't want to buy the Yes Please because I have so many yellow and red toned eyeshadows, and the other like Rosa, what it's called, that one didn't appeal to me because it was sort of like a mauve, and I have those shades in my collection as well. I'm not saying I don't have these shades, I'm just saying these are more appealing to me. This is blending very nicely, I must say. So far I'm impressed. I think there might be a difference of how you see it in the camera, like when I would look at the viewfinder and like in real life. But I sort of wish it was a tiny bit... that was not clean. I wish it was a tiny bit like darker on the eye. But it could be because I'm just using like a fluffy brush. Because I feel like it's darker in the pan than I feel like it is on my eye. So the only like dark shade this palette has is this one, and this is super dark, and then this is like the next darkest, and that's what I'm wearing right now. So yeah, besides the... but this is like a really shimmery green. I feel like there could have been a shade in between, like a darker, like a mid-tone dark purple or something. That would be cool. Because that would go both with this shade and this shade. And it would definitely go with like all of the top shades and all of the middle row shades. Okay, so now that we have applied those two shades, I'm just going to blend the edges a bit. And then I'm going to grab a smaller brush. So this is also clean, it just looks very dirty. But this is the Zoeva 232 Luxe Classic Shader Brush. So I'm just going to take this with this shade here, Princess Sparkle, maybe? But I'm just going to place that on like my outer corner. I mean, you could definitely use this to like darken the outer corner, but I'm not super stoked about how it's applying, because I mean, this is a flat brush and I don't feel like I get a lot of like impact from it. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that for now. Okay, so now I'm just going to do what I always do when I use shimmer eyeshadows. I'm going to take the... oops. I'm going to take the Elizabeth Moth Thank Me Later eyeshadow primer, and I'm just going to dab that on my eyelid. You could probably go in with the first shade we used, like all over the lid, just if you want more of like a matte look. But I'm going to go into the purple shade. Yeah, I don't know. I think I messed up with the names, but yeah. I'm just going to take the purple shade on a Zoeva 234 Luxe Smoky Shader. And I'm gonna pick that up on my brush. Ooh, that's a pretty shade. Okay, so here is what it looks like when I applied it like dry. And just for the sake of this video, I'm going to take a face mist and I'm going to spray my brush. And then I'm going to dip back into the shadow. And then you get a lot more impact from the shadow. So that is what the shadow looks like foiled. And then I also bought the My Little Pony Colourpop, like the Super Shock shadows. And I'm just going to grab a tiny bit of Sunbeam with my finger. And I'm just going to pat that on top. Like, just because. Oh. That is pretty. It's sort of like a purple with blue reflex in it. So it pairs very well with the shadow from the palette. Like that. you will get, like, if you do what I did and apply the pressed powder eyeshadow wet, and then when it's still like wet, if you take your finger and apply the Super Shock shadows, I think you will get a lot of impact from the Super Shock shadow. Okay, so I think that's all we're gonna do with the eyes for now. So I'm going to do the rest of my makeup, and then I will be right back to tell you my thoughts on this palette and like do my lower lash line and everything like that. So be right back. For my lower lash line, because I want to use as many shades as possible from the palette, I'm first going to take this shade right here, which I think is called Firefly, and I'm going to apply that on like the inner half of my lower lash line. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at doing this on camera. And then I'm going to take the green, like emerald shade. I think it's called the Princess Sparkle. Someone will have to let me know in the comments like how you interpret the names on the back when they are like this. I'm just going to take that green shade and pop it like here on the center. And then I'm going to take a tiny bit of Twilight, like the darker shade we used on the outer corner, and just pop that right here. Something like that. And then I'm just going to take like a clean fluffy brush, and I'm going to take this shade here that we used in the crease from the beginning, and I'm just going to grab a tiny bit of that, and I'm going to take the same brush but another one. This is the 237 detail shader brush, and I'm going to dip into this shade right here, which is called Snasso, I believe, and I'm just going to pop that on my inner corner. I love this shade. It has like a blue, like duochrome. I think I'm just going to pop a tiny bit, like right here under my brow, like that, and then just blend that out, like so. Okay, so I think that's the entire like eyeshadow look. Okay, so here is the finished look and the eye look. I decided to pair it with the Ultra Satin Lip from Colourpop in the shade Molly. I hope they still make this, I think so, but yeah, it's a pretty pink shade that I thought would go well with this eye look. So, okay, more information about the palette. As I said, this is what it looks like, and it has 12 shades. It retails for $16, which is a very good price. It is, like, they are small. These palettes are very small. I don't know how much they contain. Yeah, one shadow contains 0.85 grams of product. And then you have 12 shades, so there's not a lot of product in here, but I feel like it would take you forever to go through these anyways. So I really like the idea of the smaller palettes with like a lower price tag, because $16 is a great price for this type of palette. And I'm going to insert swatches right now of what the palette looks like. So as you can see, like the two first rows are very like pink and warm toned, so I feel like you could do a lot of like wearable looks with the two first rows. And then you have one like odd row out, which is like a greens, and I don't know, I think this shade is a bit weird. Like application, I really like the quality of the ones I tried. I love this shade and this shade, and I feel like this applied like well enough. I mean, it's pretty on my eyelid. It was pretty before, even before I applied this one. And same with these. I feel like my only complaint about this palette is I feel like, I don't know if these two shades were like necessary. If I had to remake this palette, I would probably keep like this row, and then I would take out like all these three shades. I feel like they don't do much for this palette. Maybe I could keep like one, maybe this one, and like take these two out, and then I would put in like a darker purple, because I feel like I'm not a huge fan of like these eyeshadow looks where you have pink, which is very warm in your crease, and then the purple is very cool tone, like it's a very cool tone purple. And I feel like, I mean, it's pretty, but it's not, I feel like I would want a bit more variety from this palette, and I would get that if they had like more of a darker purple instead of maybe one of these. And I guess you could use this one, I don't know, I'm just not overwhelmed by that shade. It's like a pale champagne, and it looks like it's going to be sort of shimmery in the pan, but it's just, I don't know, it's not very, I guess it could be a perfect like highlight shade. Yeah, I liked using this one. It's a bit more fun, like with a green shift. So all in all, I really like this palette. I will continue using it. I feel like the amount of looks you can do is pretty limited, because like what are you going to do with this green shade right here except for using it on your lower lash line? I don't know, I will have to play around with it more to see like what I can create with this row right here, because I feel like these are very like straightforward. You can just look at them and see what you can do, but I feel like with this one you will have to pull in other palettes just to get like how would you use that on the lid. I don't know, but I'm going to keep experimenting with it. I'm happy that I managed to use all of this row and then all of these and this one in my look today. So yeah, I'm happy about that. So overall, I really recommend this palette. I really like, I know I have watched a lot of people here on YouTube that really like these small palettes, so I do really recommend like this format of palette. I have only tried this one, but I've heard that the other ones are just as good. So yeah, that was that palette. And then you, as I said, it comes in this box, and then I also got like stickers of the My Little Ponies. So I think that's a fun detail. And then for the Super Shock shadows, I got, or in the collection they had the shade Sunbeam, Cherished Jubilee, and also Posy. And this is what they look like, and I will insert clips of what they look like. And as you saw, I used the one called Sunbeam on my eyelid today. And they are more of like glitter toppers than they are shadows, because I feel like you would have to go in with a shadow that is close to the color of this shadow that is opaque, and then you will want to use your finger and go in with this shadow over on top just to get like a glittery like topper shadow. Yeah, I think that was everything for this video. I'm excited to play around with this more, and I will see if I can do like another look or film another look with like this shade here. So yeah, let me know what you think about this video in the comments, because this is the first time I have like I did a first impression of a Colourpop, like the Colourpop pressed shadows when they first came out in like March or something, February. I did one of those, so but this is sort of like the first time I've done a first impression on a palette. So let me know what you thought about this video, and if there is something I can improve for future videos. But yeah, thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!